I think we're live.
Okay.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Trisha Stetzel here with Results Extreme Business Solutions, and I am so excited to have Duana Boswell-Loechel on with me today. We're going to talk about some legalese. Duana can help us kind of define some of the legislation that's going on right now, and I have some pretty hard questions for her. So I want to welcome Duana. If you would introduce yourself and tell us the name of your business.
Hi, my name is Duana Boswell-Loechel, and I am the owner of Boswell Law Firm.
Perfect. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. So I have some hard questions for you, but I have one simple one to start with. How has this COVID-19 stay-at-home order, if you will, how has that affected you personally and maybe your business as well?
Personally, it's nice being able to stay at home and spend time with the family. My husband's working from home. He's a NASA engineer, so they're working at home. So he's got his set up in one room, and I've got mine in the other. Of course, I don't have my nice office setup that I have at the physical office downtown Houston, but we were able to get one monitor home before we got under the stay-at-home order. So at least have a big monitor, not just my laptop. The challenge of 2 to 3 dogs, barking at people walking down the street, that's the challenge. But, it's allowed me, to really tap into the creativity and a direction to take the business. Because, family law issues aren't at the top of everyone's list, probably legal issues in general, even though they probably should be. But with the fear of, where's money going to come from, that sort of thing, we've had a very slow month of March since we went into the shutdown.
I can understand that, and most everyone that I've spoken to, we're all feeling the crunch right now. And I love that you said you're feeling the creativity right now and making the best use of the extra time we have when we're not commuting, right? And we don't have as many meetings or client interactions. I love that. So we have some questions that we already talked about, but I kind of want to segue into something because you made a point about people being home and being with their families. And I saw something on the news the other day about stress. And on a different call, you and I had talked a little bit about with a group about how this stay-at-home order is really causing a lot of stress in the households, or can cause stress in the households, and there may be more litigation or issues, right, coming out of this stay-at-home order. Would you talk just a minute about that?
Yeah, they've actually been reporting there's been an increase in domestic violence cases that are being responded to by police. As the stress increases, obviously domestic violence is something that we should all be paying attention to. People get stressed out about where money's going to come, and that's usually a big issue. And, if we have drugs or alcohol added into that, so with everybody being cooped up, I think emotions are going to rise, and, depression's going to come up, and those are all things that increase the domestic violence cases that are out there. One thing to really keep in mind are the courts are still open.
Okay.
And they are hearing protective order cases. And so if we have domestic violence going on in the house, don't wait until we're back to normal, as everybody says. Get safe.
Yeah. Well,
Do what you
and I
need to do to
appreciate
take
that,
care of yourself.
and we should share that advice with anybody who's watching this. Is don't wait. If they do need help, they should make that phone call. The police are still available. The courts are still available. Those are definitely actions that people should take. And you and I and Colton did a Bridge the Gap interview not too long ago, and I understand that you have empathy for those victims, and I think it's wonderful that you have put yourself into a place. Not only are you vulnerable with where you've been, but you're able to share that empathy with any victims that are out there. So thank
Yes,
you very much for being so open about that.
my
I
pleasure.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we already talked about you're still open. So your law firm is still open. What does that look like right now? Are you doing just phone consultations with people? How does that work for you?
Um, so I give them the choice. I have the availability to do video conferencing,
Okay.
and obviously phone calls are always there. Right now I'm extending a 15-minute free consultation just if they have quick questions. I'm also going to be doing a Facebook Live on Fridays at 11:30 just to answer any questions that anybody may have. Um, yeah, so I've got in place an answering service that's going 24/7 right now, and will get us all the messages, and we're able to get back in touch with our clients usually on the same day.
Okay, great. And as I know you kind of led into this a minute ago about pivoting, right? How has your business pivoted and being able to do video and phone consultations versus in person is huge, I'm sure, for you and your clients. What other, I guess, bits of technology or even, thinking outside of the box kind of things have you been doing with your law firm?
One of the probably biggest changes that we've had to make is obviously my team, we're all in separate places. Even though we're an essential business and I could make them go to the office, I've chose to allow them to stay home for their protection. Um, and so just keeping everybody on the same page has been probably one of the biggest challenges. And so we're doing video meetings first at the end of the week, just keeping track of projects and what everybody's working on, and just having to really open up communication. And that's what we're trying to keep open with our clients as well. Let them know that we're still here and we're ready to help you and do what we need to do to keep your case moving. One of the other things that we're doing is I'm a trained mediator, and I can mediate any civil case, probate cases, family law cases, and even CPS cases. And we have the ability to do digital mediation.
Wow, that's
So
great.
keep those cases moving.
Absolutely. So that leads me into my next question then is how are the courts handling cases?
Most of the courts are looking at video conferencing. We still have live hearings for any essential cases. And that would be protective orders, CPS cases where we have child endangerment, some of the criminal cases where we have maybe somebody that's in jail that needs to be bonded, and some of those hearings are still being done. I've seen a lot of courts move to, if it's not a contested matter, being able to prove it up with an affidavit or a deposition by written questions. So basically we just write out what we would say in court and send it in. And so they're coming up with ways, and I think we're going to see more courts doing the video conferencing to be able to handle a lot more of those hearings that need to be pushed through. The important hearings are being heard in person still.
Okay, all right. So when you say in person, are people actually going to the court for those?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And I suppose they're only letting so many people in at a time and everyone's keeping their distance. What does that look like? Have you had to physically go to court?
I have. I've gone a couple of times. I've gone to Harris County and I've gone to Galveston. Galveston, there's signs everywhere that says a 6-foot rule. It's in effect. It's not really enforced that well, but I think most people are trying to follow it as much as they can. I see cleaning crews a lot, wiping down the surfaces. Harris County, they're trying to make sure that any hearings that are in person, obviously they don't have multiple scheduled. And so if you're there for the same case. They try to minimize as many people as they can so that they can keep that 6-foot distance.
Yeah, wow, that's wild. So I think my personal opinion coming out of this, we're never going to go back where we were before the virus, right? So there's no getting back to normal. It's going to be the new normal. Do you think that the legal system will adopt some of the technology that we're using now in the future, even if we don't have to use it, like the video, and being able to do some cases that way versus having to come to court?
I think if everything's going smoothly, yes, we're going to start seeing more of the uncontested cases go with a written form instead of having to make an appearance in court. There was actually already a couple of courts in Houston that were doing that. So I think more courts are going to do that. I think we may have some courts that we still have some uncontested things that need to be proved up in person, that we're going to start seeing those done by video. I think they're going to see it's more efficient and they're able to get through more cases.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I feel like the technology, if we embrace it now, we'll continue to use it moving forward. I know even in our business, we have talked about having a way for people to come to live events through video, having a video camera set up inside the classroom and allowing people to come in that way. Because, either they don't live nearby or they just don't have the ability to get to the actual classroom. So I think we all have to be thinking outside of the box right now, for
I agree.
sure.
Yeah.
So a minute ago, you mentioned you're doing live Facebook sessions on Fridays at 11:30. Tell me what that looks like. How do we help people find out about that, and how do they get logged in?
So that's a good question. I'm still figuring some of this technology
Okay.
out. And so Friday is going to be my first going live on Facebook. It's going to be on the Boswell Law Firm group page. So
Okay.
like that, you should be able to get updates from that. You can also reach out to me via email. My email is Duana, which is Duana, at boswelltexaslaw.com. And Texas is spelled out.
Okay.
And it's also my website. So I've got some blogs that have some information, especially on the new laws affecting employers and paying their employees during the COVID-19. So if you have less than 500 employees, you might want to go read that.
Yeah, and that I think right now, all of us who own small businesses feel like we are information deprived.
Yes.
So we depend on people such as yourself and people who are in on the back end of small businesses, right? The CPAs and the bankers and our attorneys to really deliver that information to us, because one, we don't know when that legislation is coming out, and two, we probably don't understand it because we don't read legalese or bankerese.
Sometimes I don't understand it.
Yeah, it could definitely be difficult. So what is the most important thing that everyone should know about the legal system right now during this COVID-19, I'm going to call it an episode or an era?
Yeah, probably the important thing is court cases are moving forward. I think a lot of people are rescheduling it or waiting to file things. If that happens, whenever these orders to stay at home are lifted, there's going to be a run on the courts. And so it's important not to wait until that happens to get your matter started. Even if a court says, okay, this isn't an important thing right now, we're going to do it later down the road, at least you're in the pipeline ahead of the masses that are going to be filing. I think we're going to see an increase in divorces filed and custody issues. We're probably going to have enforcements because people didn't know what to do with their custody orders while we're under the stay-at-home order. So I think we're going to have a run on the courts, and if you can beat that rush, then you're going to get your matter heard a lot faster. It's also important right now to make sure that you've got your documents in case you do get the COVID-19. You can't make decisions for yourself. At least get your medical power of attorney and your statutory power of attorney and a HIPAA release.
That is a great point. Absolutely. Well, and the more cases we see, I think the last time I saw in Galveston County, which is where I am, there were 92 positive cases of COVID-19, and I'm sure it's grown since yesterday, at least by a couple. So,
And
all right. So
I think that all came up in one day.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes it's the testing, right? It's people getting out and getting tested, and that's where we see some of the lag. But we all know right now that we're still in the tick of this. It is still, you know, rising quickly each day, and we're certainly not to the plateau yet. And I just ask that everyone practice social distancing, just like Duana and I have today by doing an interview over Facebook Live and Zoom. Duana, thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate you taking the time. You're an amazing woman, an amazing attorney. I have absolutely no issues with referring people to you because I know you do great work, and I certainly appreciate you being part of my referral community and a friend. And oh, by the way, Duana is a ballroom dancer. She's probably not doing much of that right now,
Actually, I
but
still
that could
am.
be a fun. Oh, good. I love that. That's amazing. And that's probably a topic for another day when we're having some fun, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes. All right. In closing, would you just restate your name, the name of your business, and how we can contact you? And we'll also put that in the comments below the video.
Okay. Once again, my name is Duana Boswell-Loechel, and I own Boswell Law Firm. We are located at 1010 Lamar, downtown Houston. Our phone number is 832-919-6595, and our email, me personally, is Duana, D-U-A-N-A, at boswelltexaslaw.com. You can also visit our website, and we have an availability to make appointments straight from the website, and we have a chat available as well.
Wonderful. Duana, thank you so much. Everyone have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.